So he's been with the foster family for about a year now. Me and my mom have tried to go before the court.
This is Attorney Vincent Davis. This is The Secret, How to Fight CPS and Win. Right now I have a special guest on the telephone. He's a very prominent attorney in Southern California. He's an expert at CPS cases, and his name is Michael Lasalento. Michael, are you there?
Yes, I am, Mr. Davis. Thank you for having me.
Well, how are you this evening?
I'm great, sir. Thank you for asking.
You know, I want to make sure that the audience knows that this is Michael Lasalento, not Arthur Lasalento, who is his twin brother. There is a distinction. They work in two different separate law offices, and they're both experts. But tonight, Michael's going to be on a guest, and he's going to help me answer some calls. All right, Michael, let's take our first call. You ready?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, let's talk to Cherry from California. Cherry, did you have a story to ask or a question to tell?
Hi, Mr. Davis and Michael. How are you doing?
Great. How are you?
Great. Thank you. How are you?
Thank you. I'm good. Thank you. Well, my story is my nephew is in Los Angeles. He's being detained by DCFS. My sister passed away in April. She was doing reunification prior to that. She got him taken away in November of last year. So he's been with the foster family for about a year now. Me and my mom have tried to go before the court and petition for my nephew, but you know they're only saying because it would be detrimental to my nephew's health to take him away from the foster family, so they're detaining him with the foster family. But my thing is, I've been trying to get him as well. I talked to the social worker who's out of the Wilshire district. I know I probably can't say his name.
Yes, please don't.
I can't say his name?
No.
Okay. So I've been dealing with this social worker who's been jerking me around. He's been, he took away my visitation with him because he said that I was harassing him because I wanted to share information with him that I learned in my RFA class, because that was, the recommendation that you have to go through RFA before you can try and get, a family member.
Well, Cherry,
now I'm not.
hold on,
I don't have anything.
Cherry, hold on a second. The bottom line is you're trying to get this child placed in your custody, and you're here in California and your relative, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And the social worker told you that you have to pass through RFA, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So first, let me tell you this. That's false. There are a couple of ways you can get the child placed with you. And I'm going to ask Michael Lasalento to tell you how. Go ahead, Michael.
Well, without violating any confidentiality, I would ask, how old is your nephew, the minor child? Don't give me his name or anything, but how old is he?
He is 2 years old.
Yeah, with children under 3, under 5, generally they're on a fast track to try to move the case along. And usually the parents have 6 months to reunify, and do their services. If not, they move towards termination of parental rights. Do you know if the parents' rights have been already terminated or not?
So my sister passed away in April. I'm not sure if they termed the father's rights. That might have happened this past November 24th. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, because then it gets on a fast track for adoption, or what they call a permanent plan, in which they try to get permanencies, because usually children under 3 are very adoptable and they move very fast. there are some things you could do. You could file what they call a 388 motion. And I'm sure Mr. Davis can explain that further to try, because the law says there's supposed to be preference for family members over relatives. But what they're going to say is this young child is now bonded with this foster family, and you're going to have to file a motion. Mr. Davis is very competent at that, to try to get what they call to be heard. It's a 388 is what they call it. Any relative can bring it under the case law of Charles S. You have standing to bring it and ask to be heard, and you could ask for placement. And now they cut off your visitation. I hate to say this, but I see this happen a lot with young children under 3. They're trying to adopt these kids out, and if they've been in foster care for months, I don't know if these foster parents, and Mr. Davis can maybe ask, has filed what they call a de facto parent motion, which would give them some kind of preference. But family members are supposed to be have preference, and if you're a suitable family and suitable home, they're supposed to place with you. So when you say you and your mother availed yourself to the court, did you attend hearings, or what did you do?
Exactly. So we attended a hearing back in July. When my nephew went into the system, I was in the hospital giving birth to my own son. So April all the way up until July, we were in the hospital because he had a heart issue. We went to the hearing. Now the judge tells us that because we didn't come in the beginning, because of what you're saying about how, they're on fast track to adopt them out, the foster parents do want to adopt him. I got a hold of the ombudsman just because the social worker took my visits away. And so he ended up giving them back because I got in hold of the ombudsman and grieved him out so badly that he lied to me and told me that he never took my visits away and that he was sorry that he did that. So I have my visits back. We're doing them via dual every Thursday at 6. But the fact of the matter is, I don't know where to start when it comes to what do I do as auntie, because I'm not in the case. I'm not in the case. I don't have an attorney. I don't have any of that. And all the attorneys that I've sought out,
I would suggest you call Mr. Davis's office and see if you can file a 388, because once that child is adopted out, your rights as a family member are pretty much gone. So, and if their rights have already been terminated, it's going to be difficult too. The court will say, "Why are you here so late?" So there's they really move these cases fast, especially with a 2-year-old minor that's been with the foster care. So you might be able to do what they call a 388 or 385 after change court order. Did you ever get a court order to say that you would be assessed, your home would be assessed? Did they do a live scan, like fingerprinting, anything like that for you in the past?
I passed all that already. I passed all that. The social worker here in Sacramento County, she came out. She did fingerprints with me and my husband. She talked to my daughter here. The home was approved.
The home was approved.
For my nephew. I asked for my nephew, and they still haven't given him to me.
2 minutes.
So what you need to do is file a motion, and Mr. Davis I think he's statewide. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Sacramento.
Okay.
Hey, Cherry, this is what I want you to do. There are a few things that you can do that you can file, including the 388 that Michael Lasalento just mentioned. But call me on Monday. And we'll talk some more about it. And, when you call in and say, hey, I talked to Vince on the radio on Saturday, he told me to call and make an appointment. They'll make an appointment for you, and we'll discuss a little bit about the case and what you can do, including, Michael, listen to this. I have these relatives make complaints to the federal government, to the Department of Health and Human Services, because some counties, and, we won't say which counties in California, are notorious for not giving children to relatives. And it just seems to be a pattern that I see all of the time. So, Cherry, I want to thank you for calling and sharing your story. I want to thank you for listening to the show. Keep listening. Call us back in 3 or 4 weeks and give us an update so that we can share with the audience what's going on in that case up there in Sacramento County. All right, it's time for some messages. This is The Secret, How to Fight CPS and Win, and we'll be right back after these messages.